Shalom, everyone. In the series that we've been running during our online services called Picking from Your Garden, I'm going to now be pleased to introduce you to Josette. Josette has been a member of CRT since April 2025. She came to us choosing to be Jewish as an adult and has a remarkable commitment to social action. She's going to speak about that tonight. She serves her community as a title holder within the Miss America competition, and she's currently, or was until 2025, the Miss Worcester County. And this is a national scholarship and service organization. And by doing this, she works to prevent sexual assault and support survivors of young women who have been victims of such assault. She herself has been a victim of this assault, and she's going to speak a little bit about that tonight. She believes that listening and speaking about this subject is essential to healing, and she joins us to share her story with the courage and commitment and dedication that she has, some of which she will speak about may be difficult for us to hear. But as we know from the news that we're hearing regularly, we know that this is an issue that is in our society and to which we must address. And so we're pleased, delighted that Josette is a member of our community, is part of our family, part of our group, and we're here to hear her and to listen and to take action as we can. Josette, over to you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Josette Huang. As Rabbi Shire said, I served as Miss Worcester County 2025 as part of the Miss America opportunity, and I'm dedicating my year of service to addressing sexual assault. The Miss America opportunity is both a scholarship program and a national service platform, one that empowers young women to use their voices for meaningful change. As a local title holder, I use the crown not as a symbol, but as a tool, a way to open doors, start difficult conversations, and advocate for people whose voices are too often ignored. My work specifically focuses on addressing sexual assault in three key ways. First, awareness and prevention. So I go to a lot of different college campuses. I've been to Worcester State University, planning on speaking at Harvard, where I'll be attending law school in the fall, to educate students and faculty about what consent, what it truly means, how to respect boundaries, and how institutions are supposed to respond when harm occurs. I also share my own story of survivorship to encourage individuals to protect themselves and to challenge administrators to hold perpetrators accountable. The second part of my platform is survivor advocacy. So I partner with the media and with Jane Doe Inc., the Massachusetts Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence, to advocate for legislative change. In March 16th, I'm actually going to the State House of Massachusetts to advocate with Jane Doe Inc. Right in front of legislators. So if anyone is interested in joining, please send me a message. I'll be happy to connect you with the organization. We're working towards successfully petitioning the Massachusetts legislature to expand protections and avenues of justice for survivors. And I also lead fundraising efforts to support survivor-centered trauma-informed resources across the Commonwealth. The last part of my platform is direct survivor support. So I work with organizations like the Boston Area Rape Crisis Center, Pathways for Change, Healing Abuse Working for Change, and the YWCA to help survivors navigate reporting processes, medical care, and legal challenges. My goal with all of this is to create spaces where survivors feel believed, supported, and empowered, and where they feel like their autonomy can be reclaimed. So I'll share a little bit about my story. I do this work because I myself am a survivor of sexual assault, and to understand why, I want to share my survivor story with you. But before I tell you, I want to tell you about a phrase from Hawaii where I grew up. It's called Meke Aloha Pumehana, which means with warm aloha. It was also used by the Native Hawaiians to define the force that holds together one's existence. For me, my Meke Aloha Pumehana has always been my inner light, my instinct to see the good in others and to bring warmth into the world. It's what kept me grounded and what gave me purpose. However, after I was raped by my ex-partner, I lost that light. After the assault, I reached a point where I believed my life was over and I experienced a profound mental health crisis. After my release from the mental hospital, my school's sexual assault dean on call encouraged me to pursue a Title IX case, and they connected me with the Chicago Alliance Against Sexual Exploitation, an organization that's very similar to the ones that I work with today. and I truly credit Case with saving my life. While I was pursuing my case, I thought the most important thing was winning, but in hindsight, what mattered most was that I was listened to, believed, and fought for, especially when I felt that I could not fight for myself. That is what CASE gave me, and that's what organizations like the Boston Area Rape Crisis Center and other organizations I work with provide every single day to hundreds of people across our communities. One thing I want to give a shout out to is the Boston Area Rape Crisis Center has also been heavily engaged in our community in fighting against ICE and immigration efforts in terms of opening up a new immigration section within their organization to help people pursue their green cards and to make sure that every person, no matter what their status is, receives survivor support. My work with the Miss America opportunity is my way of giving back, of practicing tikkun olam, repairing what has been broken even when we didn't break it ourselves. It's also a method for me of gratitude and part of my ongoing healing. I often say that I measure the success of my work in trust. When another survivor trusts me with their story, I know that I'm doing something meaningful because I'm doing the same thing for someone else that Case did for me. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to do was to tell somebody else my story. So through this work, I'm slowly reclaiming my Meke Aloha Pumehana, and I'm trying to help others find theirs too. Beyond the healing that I've experienced through my work with Case and with sorry, with other anti-sexual violence organizations through the Miss America opportunity, I've also reached out to God and faith to find healing. So a little background on my path to Judaism. I graduated college a quarter early so that I could be home in Hawaii while I was pursuing my case against my perpetrator. And while at home, I live on this really enormous mountain. So I would take a daily 8-mile hike up the mountain that I lived on. And at the top of the mountain, there's this beautiful view of the entire island. So I would sit there for hours and just kind of reflect on my life. And oftentimes while I was reflecting, I had this nagging feeling in me that something was missing from my life, but I couldn't really pinpoint what that was. So I talked to my father about this, and he said, perhaps it's God speaking out to you. I decided to start listening to religious podcasts during these hikes thereafter to learn more about different religions. So I talked to a priest after, a Catholic priest, but I felt like I didn't really feel the connection to God that I was searching for through our discussion. My dad also suggested I go to my mom's Buddhist temple. So I went to a Buddhist temple, but I still felt like I was grasping for God. And then when I met my first roommate, when I finally moved to Boston, then I went to with him to go and speak to his imam, but I still felt this sort of ache inside of me that felt like I hadn't found my spiritual home. And then my Jewish friend came to visit me while he was in Boston visiting his family, and he invited me to spend a Shabbat evening with his family. And in that moment, I finally felt the comfort and love that I had been seeking, and I decided to research more about the Jewish faith. And that's when I came across CRT and I reached out to Rabbi Shire to begin my conversion journey. And I remember the first time that I stepped into our temple and I felt immediately amongst family despite not knowing anybody in the city. And I felt very much at peace despite having been through a lot of emotional turmoil in those months that had led up to me coming here. And I really felt like I had found my path to God. So in engaging with God through Judaism, I feel like I've found my Meke Aloha Pumehana again, and I feel that it's through God's love and care that I'm standing before you today as a champion for other sexual assault survivors. And when I serve with a crown, I know it's God who's helping me carry it. Thank you so much for having me today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you, Josette. We're so pleased to witness and to be with you on your journey and to help you heal and to help others heal and the important work that you do. So thank you for the work that you do. Can I ask you a question in fact, about Shabbat?
Yes.
Now that you've participated in Jewish learning and you've chosen to be Jewish, what does Shabbat mean to you these days?
I feel like for me, it's really a way to reconnect with myself. I think, especially given my personality, I'm a very type A person who's always kind of on the go, especially working in big law and then trying to pursue law school and all the Miss America things. I feel like oftentimes I'm asking myself to take on the burden of different tasks or take on the emotional burden of carrying that for other people and other survivors that I work with. But I think that Shabbat's really a time for me to say, like, this is really my moment to reconnect with myself, check in with God, and have a community that's really just about feeling that kind of love.
That's wonderful. I wish we could all get to that point for Shabbat to be so meaningful for us and to be a healing moment as well, a relaxing moment. You said you're going to law school in the fall at Harvard?
I am, yes, I just got the call on February 10th.
Mazel
So
tov, that's great. Wow, that'll be a real benefit for all of us. Um, will you still compete in this competition?
I am, yes. I'm actually competing for Miss Middlesex County next weekend. So hopefully
Great.
closer to home.
Well, we wish you well for that, and we'll look out for uh, for how you do and all that comes with it. So thank you, Josette, very much for being with us tonight and for sharing what's going on in your garden. And we're just delighted that you rounded off a whole series that we did over the couple of months of congregants, members, and friends and families of CRT who shared their special talents, special commitments, and responsibilities with us. So thank you for doing that.